Hello, 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 and welcome another week, one more week to Guitar Chat. This is a very special one. I'm very thrilled. I'm very happy. We're gonna have so much fun today. I'm just thrilled about it. And of course, we do this every week, as you guys know already. This is Guitar Chat, and it's brought to you by Vegatrem. They are, of course, the best tremolo systems in the market, that's for sure. And if you are already someone that's been watching this for a while, you already know that you have to be subscribed, you have to hit like, and you have to leave a comment as well, because that helps us a lot, a big deal. But also, if you didn't know that, just do so, because by doing so, you can apply for our giveaway. We are doing a monthly giveaway. Every month we give away one VT1 for free, completely for free, one bridge. The only thing you have to do is to be subscribed and to hit like to our videos, and also to leave a comment in either one of our live streaming, like this one, for instance, today. Also, during this whole interview, we're gonna be giving a code with which you can buy a Vegatrem, or maybe buy several of them at a 10% discount. So that's great. Stick around with us for the whole interview, because I can say the code at any time, just whenever I feel like doing it. So without further ado, let's talk about today's guest. This week in Guitar Chat, for the first time, we won't have a guitar player as a guest, but we are equally thrilled and honored, even more so. Tom Brechtlein is a world-class drummer. The proof is on his resume. He's a seasoned vet with a versatile skill set that is evidenced by the broad array of talent that has chosen to work with him. Tom's client list boasts names like Chick Corea, Kenny Loggins, Wayne Shorter, Jean-Luc Ponty, Christopher Cross, and lately Eric Johnson as well. And of course, he was part of the famous Blue Line, the amazing trio, along with Robben Ford and Roscoe Beck. So he can play rock, he can play jazz, he can play blues, fusion, and everything in between. He has the true master's touch. So I'm very happy to have you here, Tom. Welcome to Guitar Chat.
Thanks, Stefan. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you all right.
Okay. But what you failed to do, I have a great vintage air guitar collection. Now see, this here is a 57 Strat.
Cool.
Now let's check it out. And then I also have an air amp. Here, I'm going to put it in my air amp. Check the tone out.
Man, that's awesome.
And I just put one of your new...
Yeah, one of the Vegatrem.
Tremolos in there, Check it out.
That's crazy.
How
does it feel?
I also have this ES345. Here,
Okay.
hang on, let me put it down. Yeah. Great vintage air guitar collection.
Yeah, that's the one you use for the blues, I reckon, maybe.
Yes, especially on playbacks.
That's great. Well, it's so cool. I have seen you again.
Oh, it's great seeing you, Seth. It's really.
Talk, right? It's been a while, and
I miss you.
We should talk more often, man. We should talk more often.
By the way, all you guys out there, bass players, if they're bass players listening to bands, hire this guy. He's a mother father. He kicks ass. He plays his ass off. Can you say that on?
Yeah, we can say that.
Okay, now you got blip up. I'm telling you. I know. I've played with him.
Thank you, man. I'm very honored. I'm very honored, and especially coming from you, man. It's amazing. Well, let's talk a little bit about yourself, about your life, about your career.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm not mistaken, you grew up in Long Island, right? You were born there, right?
Yeah, a place called East Meadow in Nassau County.
Okay.
About an hour away from Manhattan,
Wow.
You have Manhattan, then you have the island, you got Brooklyn, Queens, and Nassau. And I'm right, that's where I grew up. So
you could see probably the skyscrapers from your...
No. I was way...
Oh, okay.
Back in the day, we were called the country. I lived in the country.
Okay. Well, now I'm pretty sure now it's not the case, right?
Well, no, it's still it's nicer now there. I haven't been back there in a while, but when visits, it got more, pardon me, upscale. I mean, it wasn't downscale. It wasn't but I mean, now they have curbs.
Okay.
You know, and I mean, it wasn't that much country, but it was, and you could get into the city fairly easily if you wanted to, check out some people in the city. But yeah, I was born in East Meadow, and grew up there, and great music community there.
That's the thing. That's what I wanted to ask you. How did you start playing drums, or your relationship with your music? What was your first relationship with music?
My sister buying records. We only had one stereo in the house, and she had this little record player upstairs, and she bought Elvis records and Motown records and anything that was. She bought all the cool stuff. I think for anyone who's either the middle child or the youngest child in the family, they always had an older sister or brother who bought all the cool records. Well, I had an older sister that had all the cool records, and I'd sit at sometimes I could sit at the bottom of the staircase and listen to her playing these records. And then when she wasn't around, I'd sneak up and put the records on and listen. So that was kind of it, And then the other thing was the marching bands in the Memorial Day Parade I think it's in May 31st or something, They had the marching bands. So even the main avenue was right nearby. Okay. And you just sit on the sidewalk, and all these drum corps would be going by, and I was just like the brass and the sound, and it was fantastic.
Pretty powerful, right? That's pretty powerful.
And there were 5 garage bands on the block. No, 4 garage bands on the block. So it was like, I was the kid that peeked over the.
So they were all
the window, and they chased me away.
They were older than you, and you would pick. Yeah. Okay. Wow,
they were all bands, and they sounded great. I remember first time I saw a real drum set in a Hammond B3. It was
man,
Sal Cervellera's garage down the street.
Awesome. So why did you choose the drums? Just because of the marching bands?
I just sort of gravitated to it. It was either guitar or drums. And I think what sealed the deal was definitely Ringo.
Ringo, right? So you were
the Beatles, Ed Sullivan Show.
Because they performed there, right? Which year was that?
64.
Okay.
63, 64. I Want to Hold Your Hand came out, at least when I first heard it. I think it was December of 63 when my sister bought that record, and I was like, oh my God.
You were blown away by that, right?
Yeah, I remember I had I think, I don't know, I was 8 years old, 7 years old. And I had this plastic guitar, and I was into Elvis, old Elvis, I remember going up with the plastic guitar in my hand, and I heard them, and then they put the guitar down and checked it out, and then later on, you got a glimpse of them. There was another talk show called the Jack Parr Show.
Okay.
And this is before they came to the U.S., and there was a little glimpse of them on the Jack Parr Show, but you really couldn't see what they looked like. And then later on, that's when in February, I think it was, then the Beatles were on the Ed Sullivan Show. It was Sunday night. It was like the main slot. Everybody watched that show. So my sisters, of course, being girls.
Yeah, they were in
the Beatles, and of course I was checking it out. And later on, what I do is I made out of oak tag, I made Paul McCartney's violin bass. I'm talking about the front, the back, and the strip. So it was like an actual guitar and I put strings for the bass, 4 strings.
Okay.
And then I tried making George's Country Gentleman guitar.
Okay.
The Gretsch.
Yeah.
And my dad helped because he was an artist. So we made, the front, the back, and then, the stripping. So I actually had these cardboard guitars.
Awesome. That's great.
Plus the fact that my dad being an artist, he worked for a textile design company where designed, emblems on ties and stuff like that, but he was an artist, and so I take his tracing paper and put it over these boxes so it would have a snare kind of sound, and then I play to the Beatle records, and so that's how that all really evolved, and then from there I went to drums when I finally got in the. I remember telling my mom, you go into music education as far as if you want to play an instrument around the 4th grade, like you're 9 years old. I guess that was a year later or 2 years later. And I was saying this to somebody else the other day. I said to my mother, I said, Ma, I need to take lessons. I need to read music. I don't know where the hell that came from. I really don't know where the hell that came from. Wow. And so then I went in 4th grade, you get your little drum pad and you go 3 hours book 1 and you start reading rhythms, and then eventually you play in the school band.
Wow.
Yeah. My first drum solo was a bass drum solo. It was called Meet Our Band, and I was in the percussion section.
Okay.
I remember that, each guy had a little, the clarinet, the snare drum, and now the bass drum. So I still remember it went boom, 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 like that.
Cool.
Okay, enough of that. You had to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Ouch. Sorry about that.
No, not a problem. Not a problem at all.
So and then from there, the garage bands were on the street, and you know.
But what kind of music did you play with the garage bands? Well, what was the?
Well, I didn't play with the garage bands. I listened to them, and they were playing R&B, rock and roll.
Oh, okay.
I mean, they were playing. Some of them wrote their own stuff. And then as the '60s moved on, they were playing Hendrix, and they were playing Cream, and they were playing. I mean, it was great to hear all that stuff. And they were playing blues, not that I remember,
Yeah.
Or they were playing like, the R&B bands of the day, and also what I call the New York Italian circuit. You had Johnny Maestro and the Brooklyn Bridge, and they played covers of that. And Johnny Maestro and the Brooklyn Bridge?
No, I don't know him, but
but you get that, the Peppermint Lounge. What's his name? Not Jerry D, something D, and I can't remember. I'll Joey D and the Starlighters.
Okay.
The Peppermint Twist.
Okay.
It definitely sounded like it was definitely funded by how's it going? How you doing? That kind of thing. It was I'm gonna get in trouble for that, but it was fun. It was really fun. All these bands.
Yeah.
And then they started getting long hair and smoking cigarettes. These guys were like 16, 17 years old. Yeah. I was 11, 12. But man, these guys look really cool, leopard skin pants, high heel shoes, that kind of, it's like, man, what is this? Hammond B3 and Rogers drum kits and Ludwig drum kits. And it was almost like, it was like window shopping. You go to one house and get chased out. You go to one, that kind of thing,
Man, but that's amazing because, of course, that means that where you grew up, there was a scene, right? There was a real music scene. There were people, right, making.
Well, they were music enthusiasts, and they played dances and stuff. I think there were only 2 bands I annoyed on the block, but there were much more. And during the summer, you could hear them from blocks away. Some other bands. You could just hear them playing, in the garage or maybe in the backyard or something like that. And, I mean, like Woodstock was happening back then. So, all the way from the Beatles to Woodstock. And I mean, it was a really great time. I mean, I even remember going to the 1965 World's Fair, and you'd go to what was called the International Pavilion. And there were a lot of young bands playing in there. That was in Queens, in Flushing, Queens. Okay. And you just go and they're right in front of you, and you go, holy crap, this is awesome, It was just the cool, you know what I mean? You know, when you saw your first band and like live instruments.
Oh yeah, I couldn't stop thinking about that for months. I mean,
There's nothing like it, you know, the guitar, you know, like, man, I mean, the amps, right? It was loud. So what? You know what I mean?
well, the louder the better, right?
Yeah. But these guys, they'd have the, you know, the old custom amplifiers with the leather around it and the cheese. But then there were the Fenders, you know, the twins and the deluxes and
the custom amplifiers with the leather. Did they do that themselves?
yeah, the leather. Yeah, and some with the leather metal flake sparkle around it. It was cool, man. You know, Univox copy guitars with the ES335 and the violin bass. Like,
that's so cool, man. Wow.
Oh man.
Yeah,
it was fun. Music was like, yeah, man. Plus, you know.
Okay, so it was fun, but of course, I mean, everybody knows you've been a world-class musician for so long, and you've been a professional musician. You've played with so many people. You know, you've done so many sessions as well. When did that thing become something serious to you? Like, when did you realize that it was gonna be your job full time?
Oh, well, I always wanted to be a musician from you know. When I was little. I mean, with the Beatles, I went, I want to do that. That's what I'm going to do. Whether it's a band, and then it moved on into when I discovered jazz. I was going, you know, at the time when, like, Maynard Ferguson and Woody Herman and Buddy Rich had all these young players, and they would recruit people from colleges. You know,
yeah.
And at that time, because like, you know, they played like more modern big band stuff at that time. Of course, I'm talking about early '70s.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
yeah.
And so that perked my interest in jazz. I'm forgetting what the original question was, but so I mean, oh yeah, so.
Yeah, I'm saying.
Then they had a big band program, summer big band program. So when I was 13, I said, "Man, I want in the high school."
Yeah,
run by Bill Katz, who's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, "I want to do that." And then you know, and then the next before high school, I got into that big band, and that was a lot of fun. You know, you're reading charts, but the main thing was to keep the groove going and.
Yeah.
Keep the band going. And then, so by the time I got to high school, I mean, I was already there when I was 12, 13. Okay, whatever, you know, I didn't know I was going to become a studio musician or a freelance musician. I was just thinking about, band. I'll be in a band. Yeah, okay, or a big band or a rock band or or an R&B band or something like that, you know.
You didn't care about the style, you just wanted to play.
Well, I became a jazz snob from like, say,
okay.
like I would say my senior in high school. I think it only lasted about a year and a half. But unbeknownst to me, I was still playing rock and roll and loving it, you know.
Uh-huh.
In other words, I was a phony. You know, I like to play it all, you know, looking back on it now, but I was like, whoa, jazz, you know. Meanwhile, I'm listening to Led Zeppelin, Jethro Tull, Hendrix. What a poser, you know.
I think all of us went through that phase of being a snob, you know.
You're growing up. You know? Yeah.
And then when you grow up, you discover that music is so beautiful in every style, you know. There's always something worth listening to and worth playing, right? So
or you know, some of the stuff that I wouldn't listen to now, then I listen to it now and I go, man, that is brilliant. That's just amazing. Why didn't I? But the fact is, I don't regret it because I was aware of it, you know, aware of that kind of playing, and I could appreciate even more now. Okay, you know. Yeah. But that's part of growing up, you know. It's like.
True. You
don't play a lot of notes, it ain't happening if it's not, you know, and then you realize what the real world requires. is groove and soul and communication, you know?
Right.
And then you go like, it's just growing pains, you know? and for some people who realize that earlier, that's great. That's awesome. But better late than never. I mean, I pretty quick, I realized that that's what it was, you know? But, but then I saw, again, and I always tell the story, it goes around. And I think when I was in high school, I was 18, and there was this thing called Soundstage from Chicago. And both Herbie Hancock and the Headhunters and Return to Forever were on this show.
Wow.
And I was doing this book report. Of course, I didn't read the book. It was due. So I was reading the liner notes of the book.
Okay.
And writing stuff down, leaving and making longer explanations of the big words so it didn't look like I was copying from the... You know what I'm talking about. And you guys out there know what I'm talking about. So I don't want to get any lip from anybody. So it was like... and then I just put the book down and I put the paper, and you know, I saw Mike Clark play with Herbie. It's like, holy crap! And then Return to Forever came on. It was Stanley and Lenny and Chick and Al. And I said, for some reason, I just came out of went into my head. I said, I got to play with that guy. I was 18. I said, I'm gonna play. You know, you're fearless when you're 18. You know, it's like, I'm going to play, or maybe you're not. I don't know. Or you're just young and stupid instead of old and foolish, you know? It's like, you know. And it's like, so I'm going, man, I'm going to play with that guy, you know? But I appreciated both bands, you know? And then 2 years later, I was playing with Chick.
Man, that's awesome. And you were what, 20?
20. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing.
But the other two that at least the other one I remember saying I'd love to play with that guy, or I'm going to play with that guy, was they had a show called the Midnight Special.
Okay.
And it was around that same time. And they had the LA Express, Tom Scott and the LA Express on. Okay. Playing this thing, Rock Island Rocket Express. And then I saw Robben Ford playing this Starfire, you know, the Guild Starfire. Yeah. And I'm listening, and I never heard guitar playing like, I mean, I've heard blues, but not like that. And I was like, man, this guy's great. I want to play with him too.
And you
so
did.
It all happened in the same year, you know?
Man, that's awesome.
Yeah,
so playing with Robben when you were 20 as well?
No.
Oh.
Listen, that was years later. I think I don't know how old I was. I think I must have been either 29 or 30 by that time.
Okay, but
I was going to say it only took 10 years, you know. But I'm just saying the people that I was playing with, I had made this decision, like I'd actually pick out the people and then I'd end up playing with them, you know. And it was kind of wild, you know. I mean, of course, that's what everybody does, but what some people do, what most people do.
Yeah.
But you know, Paul McCartney or Clapton hasn't happened yet, but maybe when I'm 70, you know. You know, okay, let's play this one, you know.
Well, they would be honored to have you in their band.
Well, the drummers they got with them now, I mean, now Clapton, Sonny Emery and Steve Gadd. Boy, that's a double, you know. Steve Gadd alone, it's Sonny Emery too. You know, it's great, and of course Abe Jr., who I knew when he was in high school. From the time to time. I mean, you couldn't get a more talented musician behind Paul McCartney. I think Paul McCartney is very lucky and very privileged to have Abe Jr.
Oh yeah,
you know what an asset. You know,
it's true.
So, anyway. Yeah. That's pretty much it in a nutshell, you know. So then I started doing work in LA and work in New York and you know.
So when did you move to LA?
When I was working with Chick. I never really wanted to live in Los Angeles.
Okay. Okay.
But I started getting, I mean, Chick was doing stuff, and
Hmm.
to make a long story short, there's more to the story, but I wanted to stay in New York, but it ended up, I go back to New York, I get work in LA. I go to LA, I get work in New York. So, and then I met my wife in LA, who's not from LA.
Okay.
She's Scottish and Malaysian.
Okay.
And that's when I stayed in LA.
Yeah, but you stayed there for 30 years almost, no?
36.
Oof, almost.
And I've been married to Evelyn for 39 years now.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Yeah, we just celebrated our 39th anniversary.
Awesome. Yeah, I saw.
Wedding anniversary.
Yeah, I think I wrote you something. Yeah, I wrote
Yes, you did. You did. Thank you.
Happy anniversary. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. How many years is it for you?
We've been married for, it's gonna be next year 7 years.
Yeah, man.
7 years, and we got married over there in Austin.
Yeah,
Yeah, because we met there.
I know. I remember. Through Facebook, wasn't it? Through Facebook?
Well, it was she came to one of my gigs, on 6th Street, when I was playing just by myself when I was just starting, in Austin.
Right.
But the thing is that I put the ad in one of these Facebook groups that says Spaniards in Austin, and she saw it, that's why she came, and
I see.
That's how we met,
Yeah. We met through Facebook. I think I remember I was putting out the word that I was in town.
Yeah.
And you just said, "Would you like to play with me?" I said, "Yeah, sure, absolutely."
I was thrilled because I was of course I never thought you were gonna say yes, because this is the truth. I mean, this is the truth. And then when I saw your message, when you wrote me back, I was like, what? Okay, let's do this.
Yeah, it was great. It was that gig with you, me, and Matt at the what was that place?
Roomies, maybe. Roomies.
Yeah, that's what it was. That was they were all great gigs, Yeah.
Yeah.
That was killing.
We had so much fun, man. Especially.
Oh yeah.
So much fun.
Oh, it was a blast. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. Next time I go to Austin, we gotta repeat that.
Absolutely, I'm down. I'm in.
Anyway, but let's talk because I wanna talk, and I want the people to to know some of your stories. When you were in LA and you started playing with Robben and with Roscoe Beck as well. That was probably one of the best trios that I've ever heard in my life.
Thanks.
And
we had a lot of fun.
I'm not telling you this because you're in front of me. I genuinely think that, and I honestly think that that's pure magic, man. I don't know if you guys were aware of that, but I really and up to this day when I hear that, there's some kind of connection. It's so beautiful and so amazing, man. How did you live that period with the Blue Line?
I loved it. I absolutely loved it. We kind of read each other's minds, and I got to thank Roscoe Beck for that whole experience, and Robben, of course. But how we got together is I think I was subbing for Tommy Taylor with Christopher Cross, and he went to see me with Jennifer Warren's, drop another name, at the Universal Amphitheater.
Okay.
And we met, and we had a nice, conversation. It was great. And then later on, because I was subbing, for Tommy, and then that was over. And Chris's tour manager, James Wofford at the time, called me up, and he called me up, and he's a real Texan. He's great. He goes, "Mr. Brechtlein," he goes, would you help out a friend of mine? He wants to play with a couple of people. And I said, sure. I said, what's your friend's name? He goes, Eric Johnson. And I said, oh, cool. Well, what does he play? He plays guitar. I said, oh, this is 85, 84, 85, or 80, might have been 83. I don't know. I think it was 85. So, and this is before he did Tones, before he got I guess they were, looking to do demos. So Roscoe and I played with Eric together, and we had a great time. And at the end of the jam, Roscoe turned around and he goes, "Man, it's great playing with you, man." He goes, "You know, me and Robben, we have a gig at this place it was called At My Place on 11th Street in Santa Monica, if I'm not mistaken. In Santa Monica."
Okay.
And when Robben was in town, you know, he'd book these gigs at the club for the weekend.
Okay.
You know, and he'd make some good dough, you know, as well as play great music.
Yeah.
Play great music coming first, that is. And so he goes, he goes, "Usually Vinny Colaiuta plays with us, but sometimes he can't do it." And I said, "Yeah, sure, I'd love to," you know. So the very next week, no. Then we got on a project, thanks to Roscoe. He recommended me to play on this project for this shakuhatsu player, Kazu Matsui, but not for him, for a project that he was doing.
Okay.
And it happened to be that Robben was on the gig and Russell was on the gig. Russell Ferranti, Roscoe, and myself. And we rehearsed at this place called Jenny Foodie Studios, which is a recording studio. And then after we played together, did the first rehearsal, Robben came up to me and said the same thing Roscoe did. You know, we play these gigs when I'm in town, blah, 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 blah. You know, Vinny usually plays it, but if he can't play it, would you be interested? And I said, absolutely, I'd love to. And so the very next week, the gig was open. So I called, he gave me, you know, Talk to Your Daughter had not been released yet.
Okay.
And I must have been 84. I don't know. Anyway, whatever. It's somewhere around there.
Okay.
And so we played. We had a great time. And every time Vinny couldn't, they kept on calling me back.
Uh-huh.
And then we did I think I was playing with Wayne Shorter at the time. It'd be back and forth, blah, 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 blah. And then finally, Robben did this European tour with me, the great tenor player Bob Malik, Roscoe, Bill Boblitz, great organ player. He's on the first Blue Line record.
Okay.
And we had a great time. And then I remember I was doing this other gig I didn't want to do. I was in Florida, and I get this call from Robben going, "I'm thinking this next tour we're gonna do a trio." And I went like, "Trio, huh?" You know?
Yeah.
And that little tour, when we finished, it ended that was in 1990, I believe.
Okay.
And we'd already been playing in Santa Monica all the way from 85 to like 89, you know. And 89 is when we did our first little tour with the quartet.
Okay.
And so then in 1990, I remember we were at the Lone Star Cafe in Manhattan. We just finished the gig. And we're all standing there, the three of us and our then-to-be manager, who was the tour manager at the time, Dal Booth. We're all standing there. And, you know, we got our coats on, overcoats, we're ready to go home, and we're going to resume in January on the West Coast.
Yeah.
So Robben just looks at us and goes, "This is it." And me and Roscoe looked at each other and went, "What? What do you mean?" And he said, "This is the band." And we all went, "Yeah." Because we grew a lot in that week, you know. First place we played was the Iron Horse in Massachusetts.
Okay.
And I remember everybody played great, but everybody was trying to compensate for the organ, I think. So everybody was overplaying like crazy. And I remember we got in the van. We were driving to the next gig, and I'm still the new guy, you know.
Yeah.
And both Roscoe and Robert are going, "I don't understand what happened. I mean, it was great, but it wasn't great." And then I knew exactly what happened. And I said, "Okay, well, I better say something. If I'm going to get fired, I might as well get fired now." And I said, "Fellas, I think we need to trust the space." Yeah. Silence. And they looked at each other. Then they looked at me and they went, "Yeah, you're right." And I went, "I am?" You know? And that became a beautiful kind of family thing. Like brothers in arms. Yeah, that was really, I think, the defining moment, even though we were on the road and we had a great time with the quartet, the quintet, and everything.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it happened, but that magic of the trio, man, that's something else.
And then we had a lot of laughs. I mean, that was the thing, you know. I mean, you know, you could say we butted heads, but we really didn't, you know. And we just knew each other, you know. A rehearsal for a tour would be 3 hours because we had been touring so much. Yeah. The first hour would be, what kind of new gear did you get? We're talking about old gear.
Yeah.
The second hour would be just jamming, not even playing the tunes.
Just jamming.
We knew them already. And the third one, Robben would go, anything you guys want to go over? Or if Robben had a new tune.
Oh, okay.
Anything you want to go over? We go, no. Okay, let's go home. And the next day we'd be at the airport. And that's how rehearsals went. I mean, they went very easily, even with new stuff. It was just like,
nice.
You know? And it's, you know, there was no...
there wasn't a lot of things of, let's try this, let's try that, because...
Not too much discussion.
From the first try, it was already working, right?
Yeah, and maybe sometimes in the studio or like one or two tunes, probably just one maybe a year. Well, could you try it? And then we talk about different ways of just backing solos or something like that. Mm-hmm. But most of the time, it really, you know, it just came together, you know. And I didn't really realize this, so we started talking about this just now, you know. Uh-huh. And we were in very good communication with each other.
That's beautiful, man.
But, you know, but not by words, just by like, you know, you'd hit something and you go, bang, and Robben turn around and go like this. And then I make a mental note, don't play that again. Just go ahead. And I guess you'd say, be in the moment, you know.
Yeah.
But, you know, but we all had that from the previous people we played with, you know.
So you got that
experience.
Of course, you guys were already very, very experienced, you know, before you started playing together.
Yeah, Roscoe had his own. Roscoe had his own band, Passenger. He played with Leonard Cohen. He was asked to do a number of, and plus, you know, he's royalty here in Austin. You know.
I know. Yeah.
I mean, he's played with so many people.
Yes.
I mean, and knows so much about. He really knows how much music work. He knows the insides and outs of. In other words, he's got great ears and great musical taste. Of course, he hires me. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Of course.
But he's a beautiful guy, you know, and it's like
you both make a wonderful rhythm section, and I know you guys have been also working in the last tour with Eric Johnson that I think it was stopped because of the pandemic, right?
Yes, best tour I had ever been on.
Really? Tell me.
Everybody got along, from merch to not putting him on any tiers. Everybody was equal, but I'm just saying.
Yeah.
From merch to Eric and to management. I mean, not one fly in the ointment. It was I couldn't believe it. I mean, and I never questioned it.
Okay.
So go ahead. Every gig was a gem. There were no stinkers. There were no stinkers. I mean, others were like maybe more special than others, but there wasn't one. And we had a blast even on stage, and we were having fun. It was very relaxed. Uh-huh. Nobody was, you know. I mean, everybody's goofing. I mean, not goofing to the point where it looks stupid, but on stage was just like I'm talking to you. You know, and that's the way it should be. It leaves it free for some, you know, and everybody had each other's back. You know.
That's great. I never, of course, because I was already here in Spain, so I never got to see you guys live.
Yeah.
But I saw a couple of videos, and it sounded amazing. But
yeah, I posted some stuff that was.
Yeah, it was beautiful, man, amazing, and also having Mr. Dave Sher playing guitar and keyboard.
Yeah, he sounded great, and
another pretty big name in Austin. You know, he's. Yeah. So talented, man. I really enjoy his playing. I really love the way he plays music, and he's super talented, man. And
he is a great songwriter, great singer.
Yeah.
Great stage, great guitar player, great keyboard player, great bass player, great drummer.
Yeah. I mean,
You know, I mean,
leave something for the rest, right?
yeah, really, please, would you? Don't you stink at anything, Dave?
Yeah.
He doesn't stink at anything. He's also a dog owner. Which is great.
Another.
He's a great dog owner. He's a great dog parent, and a great friend. He's you know,
Cool,
like
man.
yourself. You know, it's just like you surround yourself with cool people. It makes the experience. You know, the road's tough. You know, it's not tough, but you know, you live day to day with other people, and everybody just got along really well. And
Yeah, because the moment you have someone you're not very comfortable with inside the van or the truck or whatever, it's complicated. It can get very, very complicated, especially when you're out of your house. You know, you're not sleeping in your bed, and you know,
yeah.
one thing on top of the other, and the combination.
I mean, yeah, Eric and I, we were all coffee guys, but I remember one time I'd get up out of the bunk and I was really tired, and he knew exactly the kind of coffee I liked.
Oh, nice.
He goes, "Is this the way you like it, man?" I go, "Oh, thanks, Eric, you know, 3-shot mocha, you know, breve, you know, no whip, extra foam, you know?" And he knew that. I'm like going, you know, or if everybody's in their bunk, we're going, we find out going for coffee. You never saw a bunch of guys get out of their bunks early in the morning, going like, you know, putting on their, I don't know, whatever they had, some in slippers, you know, going to the local, especially in the college towns, the local coffee joint. And that's with every tour I've done. You know, you go, "Yeah, I'll have that." It's 8 o'clock in the morning. Who gets up at 8 o'clock in the morning, you know, on the road? You know? And you go like, "You're the next, please." "Oh, I'll have this with that and put some of this in it." "Okay. How much?" "Okay. Here." You know, it's like, so you know how it is. You've been on, you know what it is. You've experienced that.
Yes.
Some of you people out there too have experienced that. You know?
Yeah, well, here it's the tours are kind of different, you know, because you know, coffee. It's not that easy to find coffee, you know, on the road.
In Spain?
Yeah, I mean,
you guys have some of the best coffee. Those coffee bars are fantastic.
Yeah, sometimes it's not that good, you know, especially on the road, because you know, road bars are not that good.
Oh yeah, but the ones in the towns are.
Yeah, the ones in the town.
Oh, Sevilla, Barcelona, Madrid. Right. You know, I mean, wow. Yeah. You see the crema on the coffee. You go, "Oh, this is gonna be good." But
it's kind of the European coffee, right? Because if you go to Italy, it's the same thing.
Yep.
France probably is the same thing as well. I don't know.
Yeah, different types, but in Italy and Spain.
Yeah, especially Italy and Spain. That's right. Yeah. So tell me also a little bit, because I know you've been touring in Spain. I think it was with Chick Corea, right? Mm-hmm. And you played with Paco de Lucia, with the great Paco de Lucia.
Oh
right?
yeah, yes.
Can you please tell me a little bit about that experience? Because I mean, every time you tell me about that, I'm kind of, you know, blown away.
Well, he did an album called Touchstone,
okay,
of which the tracks that I played on didn't make it, but that's all right. So we went on tour in the States with Paco first.
Okay.
I don't think we went to Europe with Paco.
Oh,
but it was in the States, and prior to that we went on tour, and the band was myself, Don Elias on percussion, mm-hmm. Steve Kujala, Alvis on reeds, on saxophone and flute, mm-hmm. Al Vizzuti on trumpet, and anyway, and Paco, we did that. He had just finished recording Touchstone. Paco came on, and as you know, Carlos Benavent played bass on that tour.
Yeah, the bass player.
And you know, he played with Camarón, and he played, you know, and Paco. Along with him, Ruben Dantas and Jorge Pardo.
That's right.
I played with them later in 2004. All of them with Chick.
Okay.
And through 2006. So we did this tour in 82, 1982.
Nice.
When Carlos had black hair and I was thin and had red hair. Really thin. I was thin. I didn't always look like this.
You look great, man.
And Paco and I he was very playful. He was very funny.
Yeah.
He was very gamesy, you know.
Uh-huh.
And he'd always try to get me in trouble.
Really?
In certain ways. I could always tell. He wouldn't not in a bad way, in a funny way. And he'd kind of he'd look at me and go, he just roll his eyes like this. He'd go, when he start doing this, going from, like look at me from side to side, I said, oh, I'm in trouble. He goes, Tommy, come here. I said, no. He goes, come here. And I won't tell the rest of the story, but I never got involved. Let's put it that way. I never got involved.
Okay.
And neither did he.
Okay.
He just wanted to see. And then, he was just a fun hang. And when it came time to play, we played, and it's pretty much it,
It was, it's crazy because every time, of course, here in Spain, not only in Spain, everywhere, we love Paco. We love him, so much.
I love him too.
But he always had that very serious reputation, because all the time in the interviews, on the stage, he was always like kind of like very, very focused, concentrated on.
Yeah, probably when he's playing.
Yeah. So for me, it's pretty weird, to hear these stories about.
I got news for you. He's not serious, folks. He was a very sweet man, and he just was one of the guys, man.
Yeah,
and he didn't come like I am Paco,
Yeah.
But when he plays, he commanded. He just commanded the area, because that's I think the way he looked when he played was just my viewpoint was his love and respect of the music he was playing, music for that matter.
Yeah. Right.
I also caught him smiling on stage when we were playing. He'd smile and we'll go like this, go.
Cool.
He was kind of messing around. He'd go, and it was great. He was a lot of fun.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
I saw him once coming out of the studio, and he was outside the studio. I was just coming out of a place where I had been having a coffee, with a couple of friends.
Yeah.
And we knew there was a studio right by that place, that place's side. So he was there outside smoking a cigarette, probably resting, surrounded by a lot of people, And I was like, that's Paco de Lucia. I just can't believe it. And I was like, man, I want to say something to him, but I just don't want to bother him,
Right.
I took my car, and as I was passing by, I just saw from my car, I said, Paco, grande.
And what did he do? He just waved back, right?
He just waved, and probably he was thinking, well, who's this crazy guy,
He probably went, now that's the kind of guy I'd like to talk to.
Probably, I don't know, man, but I just didn't want to bother him, because he looked kind of tired. Probably he had been recording, the whole day or something, and he looked kind of tired. But I just couldn't help it, because I was so thrilled.
Yeah, you got to. You've got to.
Yeah, it's amazing, man. Well, let's talk about your, because we haven't talked about this yet, but we see your setup over there. You know? And you have your drum set, your mics, everything, and that's the recording setup, right?
Yes.
Of course, you are recording tracks or remote tracks for everyone who needs tracks. And let me tell you guys, because I was one of your first clients, so
that's right.
I can tell this. he's just the most professional drummer. I mean, we've been talking about this we've been dropping all the names he's been playing with. So if you guys need some really great quality, I mean the best quality drum tracks, you guys have to call this man. I'm gonna leave the in the description of this video, I'm gonna leave all Tom's links and everything, so you can get in touch with him, because he's just the real deal.
Oh, thanks, man. Thank you.
I can tell you for sure, And let me tell this in Spanish as well, because probably some people are who speak Spanish are watching this. Chicos, si queréis pistas de Tom Brechtlein grabadas por él en su estudio, nada más que tenéis que ir aquí a la descripción de este vídeo, porque él, os puede grabar las mejores pistas de batería. O sea, os va a encantar, con la mejor calidad, y vamos, no hay nada mejor que el señor Tom Brechtlein, y le podéis tener en vuestro disco, y es una maravilla. Okay, I'm finished in Spanish.
Okay.
Tell us a little bit about that. Tell us a little bit about, how do you approach this job, recording and everything?
Well, I mean, I'm doing a new track for that my buddy George Whitty is producing, and before we even talked to you, and so we had a Zoom conference about how each section should go down. And usually I have that discussion, like, through email or something like that, or through WhatsApp or whatever. Now it's so easy and cost efficient. You can go through Messenger and call somebody up in Ireland. I did this one guy, fella, great guitar player, David Malloy, just did a track for him. And anyway, how it, each section goes down. If you have a chart, that'd be great. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, and I just, you get the levels, you get the sound, and you do a couple of takes. So first I do the one that I'm happy with, and then I'll send the MP3 or the tracks over for them to listen to. Am I answering the question? Yeah, I think.
Yes.
So, send the tracks to, and they can listen to it, and anything they want fixed, they call me back, and then I fix it. And then if there's anything else, in other words, for me, I mean, and I'm probably saying, I shouldn't say this, but I'm of the ilk where the track is done until everybody's happy. And I know some people go, that's just the way I am. Some people say, look, you get 2 passes, and that's it.
Yes, I understand.
I don't know. I'm the kind of guy, I don't know. It's just me. And I'm probably going to shoot myself in the foot for saying that. But I just look at it this way. You got to be happy, and I got to be happy with it.
That's right. That's right.
Because in the end, I mean, at least on my end, I'm going to be on that track, and people are going to be listening to it.
That's right.
If it sucks, sorry, if it stinks, or if it's not up to par, then people are going to notice that. And, well, not to mention that, of course, first and foremost, it's got to enhance the music, and it's got to be what the artist envisioned or likes.
It's crazy, man, because I've always been very impressed with your way of playing, because I've seen you playing jazz, I've seen you playing rock. I mean, with myself, with some honor, of course, but I've also seen you playing blues, and you sound legit in any style. I don't know if I don't know if that's a matter of experience, or just because you love all those kinds of music. I don't know why, but it sounds. I mean, every style of music you play sounds so legit, man. It's crazy.
Well, thanks. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And I think it might be from playing with people who know more about the music or that style than I do.
Okay.
And I just listen to what the other guy's playing. You know, and then not so much listen to some recordings, although there's some recordings that go, well, what kind of recordings you got that I can listen to, And then you make a study of it as you go, instead of, well, I have to know all this stuff.
Yeah.
before I go play that, you know?
Uh-huh.
It's basically just listen to others around you.
Yes.
And like maybe I don't play it authentic, but I'm listening to the rhythmic phrases and stuff that other people are playing.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yes. Uh-huh.
And well, case in point, like I knew how to play a shuffle because of Thad Jones and Mel Lewis big band.
Okay.
That's how I learned. That's how I knew. Plus the fact that at the time when I was a kid in high school, one of the first books to introduce yourself to jazz was Advanced Techniques for the Modern Drummer.
Okay.
By Jim Chapin.
Uh-huh.
And that's the perfect book to show you how to play a shuffle because a lot of it was da 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 da. So what happened when I was playing with Robben, I remember Roscoe, I think it was maybe the first or second gig I played with him at my place. And you know, I had played double shuffles before, but only in a big band situation. And when I was a kid.
Okay.
And so the last tune, Roscoe, we played an encore. I can't remember, maybe it was Take Out Some Insurance or something.
Uh-huh.
And Roscoe turned around to me, and his Texan came out, and he goes, he looks at me, we're in Los Angeles. He looks at me, he goes, Texas double shuffle. And I went to him, and I computed, I went, he must mean that Thad Jones Mel Lewis shuffle. So I went like this, I went, like that. We started playing, and at the end of the gig, at the end of the tune, Roscoe looks at me and goes, yeah. And I'm going, wow, I guess I fooled him. And from there, you know, playing with Robben and Roscoe, you know?
Yeah.
It's like,
Uh-huh.
and also from there, when we take those long van rides in the beginning, they'd have like Sonny Terry and Brownie McGee on. They'd have from that to like Buddy Waters to that with I don't know.
All the classics, all the blues.
All the classic guys, you know. I mean, you know, and then East West, Paul Butterfield Blues Band.
Oh yes.
Modern end of things, and
Yeah.
you know, but you know, Little Walter and you know, Robben would just play him, and then Roscoe would be kind of the guide. All these guys, but you know, it wasn't really discussed in depth. It was just there.
Got it.
Like I remembered one time, we were doing our first European tour. It was a quintet, but Roscoe was the bass player. And I remember we had been. Oh no! It was the first trio tour in Europe.
Okay.
Before we were the Blue Line. And we were hawking around the demo tapes to record companies, or Robben was, and I remember we were in LAX and we were going to do this tour, and I asked Roscoe, I said, "Okay, man, hands down, who's the quintessential blues guitar player?" And he goes, hands down, Albert Collins, right? I went, cool. So we played the North Sea Jazz Festival.
Okay.
And we play. We have a good set. We have a great set. And who comes on after us? Albert Collins. And he's got a Telecaster, and he just goes into two twins that are hooked up.
Yeah.
And he freaking killed. He had the audience in his hands.
Yeah,
he man. Doing that.
Capo high, right? Well, playing the guitar with the capo.
Yeah. And then, but you know how he's doing that? He goes towards the audience like he's gonna, I'm coming at you. That was great. And from then on, over the years, we'd all play together. Uh-huh. But I'll never forget the first time I met him, because Robben was talking to him. He goes, "Oh, this is Tom Brechtlein." He goes, "How you doing, young man?" And I said, "I'm doing great, Mr. Collins. Great to meet you." And he goes, "Shaking hands with Mo money." Shaking hands with more money. And he was so freaking cool.
Yeah.
And him and Roscoe really hit it off as well. I mean, it's just like,
he was from
yeah.
Texas as well, right? Albert Collins.
I think he's from Houston. I'm not sure.
I mean, I don't know the city, but I know he's Texan for sure.
Yeah, but we double billed with him once, and I remember it was right before he passed.
Okay.
And live audience, and I remember Robben was like this school kid, you know. We had already played, and the crowd is going nuts. And Albert looks at Robben and goes, "We're backstage." He goes, and Albert goes, "You want to go?" And Robben's looking at him like, "What?" He goes, "You want to go? You want to play?" He goes, "Yeah." And I went, "Go get your guitar." You know? Oh, it was amazing. That's when Robben got that telly. He had just gotten that white telly or vanilla-looking telly, you know.
Yeah. He still uses it. I mean, I assume it's the same guitar. You know, I love the.
Yes. Yeah, I remember when he got that. You know, he had just gotten that guitar. It's great, along with the original Esprit, which became the Robben Ford model. Yes. That original one he had was unbelievable. Oh yeah.
But he doesn't use those guitars anymore. I wonder why.
I don't know. But that one that he used all the time, you know, the neck was going out, you know, and finally he had to retire that one. But they made the new ones and they sounded great too. But he didn't really, he never, ever, he loved it, but he wasn't totally satisfied like most you guys are with guitars. It's like the holy grail, you know?
True. We're always looking for something else. No, but now I need this sound. Yeah. Now I need this neck. Now I need this. You know, I keep the same guitars because I'm too broke to buy new ones.
It's like us with ride cymbals, drums with ride cymbals. Or I got this snare drum, you know.
Yeah,
it's like
I saw you have a good collection of snare drums behind your back.
Yes, I do. Well, I just got it's they're mostly Yamaha, except for that Ludwig.
Okay.
I don't know if you can see it.
Well,
but,
I mean,
I've done it, and a done it metal snare drum.
Okay.
Or done it. They make great snare drums. But
I don't know which one you used when you recorded my songs, but it sounded amazing. I don't remember.
Yeah, I used. I used. It's sitting right there. Superphonic snare drum, and now I found Ludwig, but now I found the one that I really love that has all the qualities of the Superphonic. And let's see if I can show it to you. It's for those of you who know about drums. This is a Yamaha. This is a Yamaha stainless steel.
Nice.
5.5. That and I think Yamaha finally broke the code on because they know about the Ludwig Superphonic is just like, well, that's all you really need.
Yeah.
But they broke the. Now I swear to God, this is all I really need. I use it on everything, and I have a 5.5.
Okay.
This is a stainless steel recording custom snare drum.
Okay.
And I got a 5.5 and a 7, which I don't. Oh, that's in the car. I'll use that on gigs.
Okay.
But I can switch that out. And that's what I bring on recording dates with me now. I mean, I bring the other ones in case, you know, by some fluke they don't like it. But every time I put these on, it's just like the Ludwig. If I bring a new snare drum and they go, "No, you got anything else?" And then I put this one on. And they go, "That sounds great, perfect." And I don't tell them what it is. I just go, "Great."
That's the best thing you can do, man. That's how it works.
You tell them after you're done.
Yeah.
What was that? That's what it was.
It's like have you seen that? You know Leland's car, right? The bass.
Oh yeah, I know Lee. Yeah, sure.
So there's a video of him talking about the producer suite that he has on his.
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
The one on the amp, you mean?
No. On the bass.
I thought he had one on the amp. So anyway, tell me about it.
Yeah, but he says he's got a switch on his bass. So when the producer when he doesn't like the sound of the bass. I don't know, can you do something? And he hits the switch, and that switch does nothing, you know,
Right.
bypass.
Right.
You know? But he's like, okay, how about now? And the producer's like, okay, now.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah. Well, it's like some engineers, what they do is they, you know, the little switch for the EQ.
Yeah.
They don't turn it; they just turn their hands.
That's right.
You like this? Or you like this? You like this? Oh yeah, I like that. Okay. I like that one. That's really good.
Yeah.
I used to do that with snare drums when I
Uh-huh.
was first working in the. Oh no, you do the sit with beats. You know, you'd start playing and go, "How's this?" And you go, "Well, you know, this way," and then you do it again. Well, what about this way? Then about if it ran over 15 minutes to 20 minutes, I'd go, going back to the first beat you played, and you don't say anything.
Yeah.
You just go play that, and they go, "That's it. That's perfect." And then you just go.
Okay.
See, now I gave the secret away.
Well, don't worry. It's all right.
Well, but I get it. You know, they're trying to get something. You know, they don't know what it's going to sound like yet until it goes down on tape, or you know, I get it. So rather than be frustrated about it, you just go,
Yeah,
"That's it." You know,
that's part of the job. Honestly,
it is part of the job.
right. Yeah.
You know,
Because
hey,
it's gonna happen to you. It's gonna happen to you more than once and more than twice. It's gonna happen to you throughout your whole career.
you just have to be smart about it rather than get angry about it.
That's right. That's right.
Maybe a couple of times I've gotten a little bit wise guy about it, but not much, you know.
Okay. Yeah. That's right. Okay, it's the time to talk about the code, the discount code that we're gonna use for this week. This one is Tom #19. Tom all in lower caps. TOM #19. Tom #19. You guys can get the code right now with in our website, and you can get a Vegatrem for a 10% discount, which is a pretty cool deal, if you ask me. Okay, Tom, I think we're gonna wrap it up now. Thank you very much. Thank you so much.
Oh, I had a great time
for doing this, man. And it's always great to see you. It's always great.
Oh man, I hope next time I see you and Millie in the flesh.
Oh yes, that's gonna happen. That's for sure. I still don't know when, but that's gonna happen. Tell me something before we finish. Are you guys coming back on tour with Eric Johnson? Do you guys know anything?
Don't know yet. I mean, I know Eric's got something planned for February. I'm not sure. I mean, yet what's going to happen. So.
Okay. Well, I wish you guys come back together because that was a phenomenal band, and of course, I mean, I love Eric Johnson, man. I love him. He's
Me too. Yeah,
he's amazing, and I also got to meet him.
And he's a great guy too, more than I could tell you.
Actually, he's got a couple of my records. Honestly, he's nice.
That's great.
He talked to me about him, and he gave me.
There's. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
He gave me some advice, you know, and he's so cool, man.
Yeah,
he
is
humble and so gracious. You know, he's amazing.
Well, he's getting a new record mastered right now, of which Roscoe and I played 5 new tracks on over this pandemic thing. But there are a lot of tunes on this one. I don't want to give it too much away because I don't know how he wants to promo this.
Okay.
But you'll be hearing about it pretty soon. But I think he just packed it up to get mastered. It's mixed.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah. So but it's got a lot of players on it. I'll tell you that much.
Okay.
Once you find out what he actually did.
Okay. Wow.
Sounds great too.
Can't wait, man. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be great.
Yeah.
Awesome. Man, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure, and I now that I've been talking to you, I realize, you know, how fun it was, you know, hanging out with you. And
oh man, you too. Really, it's great. You know, it's I'm looking forward to seeing you again. And in the interim, you can Zoom me anytime, and I'll do the same to you.
Cool. Yeah, we need to repeat this. That's for sure. Okay.
Yeah. All right.
Thank you everyone for sticking around with us. You guys know that next week we're gonna do this again. So till then, be safe, be happy, and play a lot your guitar. See